some of the accomplishments later on. But the gist of this presentation is to give you, to paint a complete or a more comprehensive picture from Hazrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to Hazrat Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmad. He will convert 3 into 4. It's a Monday, a blessed Monday, sun, delight of the heart, with ranking noble manifestation of the first and the last, a manifestation of the true and the high, as if Allah has descended from heaven. I mean, it is such a powerful thing. His appearance, his birth is as if Allah has descended from heaven. I mean, what else would he need? A person who is sincere, what else would he need? Now, moving fast, I will navigate to the next one. Yeah, we'll move to the next one, please. Yes. Yeah, and the next. Okay, here, very quickly, what I'm trying to say is, from a worldly point of view, the promised Messiah at that time was 51 years of age. He prophesied that a son will be born to him in 9 years from 1886. And at that time, he was already 51 years of age. And he gave himself 9 years, which would make him, the time limit he set for himself was 60 years. Now, if you look a little closer, the life expectancy around that time in the third world countries, especially in subcontinent, was under 50 years. Now, how can a person who is so advanced in age, who is above the life expectancy of 50 years, he is claiming all these qualities in a son that has not been born yet? It is nothing but Allah's grace. It is absolutely a miracle, because under normal circumstances, from a worldly point of view, it is impossible to predict somebody who's already 50 years of age that he would have a son, and not only he would have a son, but these are the qualities, these are the characteristics that would be found in that son. No human being can do this. And as a matter of fact, he had 2 children born to him after that. The first one was Ismat Bibi. She died very soon. And another son was born. He was called Bashir Ahmad. And he also died. And everybody ridiculed. Oh, look, what happened? You claim to be this, he would be, this and this and this. But what happened? Look, your children died. Then he said, you fools, basically, don't be in a rush. Don't be in a haste. I gave you 9 years. And according to prophecy, 3 years later, in 1889, the son was born. And that's the son who later on became to be one of the greatest leaders of our community. Naveed, next please. As you can see very clearly here, even from a very childhood, even from a very young age, Hazrat Mirza Bashiruddin Ahmad Sahib, he was devoted to the religion, and he was concerned about Islam. And he shared the grief of his father. And he worked basically the rest of his life for the betterment of the Jamaat. Next slide, Naveed. Now we're coming to the end of this. Now, again, to look at the things at this, he was 25 years of age when he became the Khalifa. And at that age, most people they're just barely out of college, and they have absolutely no idea of what they would do. But he took upon the reins of the Khilafat at the tender age of 25. And then he demonstrated his leadership in so many ways. The first election of the first Khalifa, he remained true, even though there was some talk about separating and then the role of the Khalifa, but he stayed with the one that he was elected, the first Khalifa Masih al-Awwal. And again, at the time of the partition of India, it was a great burden on him. He safely moved the center of the Jamaat to Pakistan, because in his vision, he thought it would be better to move to a Muslim country. And you can see he led for 52 years of year, and he spread Islam all over the world. He laid down the framework of the Jamaat, the administrative framework. He came up with so many schemes. He initiated several schemes for the moral training, for moral and spiritual training of the Jamaat, with little formal education. He barely had any formal education. But you can see he wrote some masterpieces, his magnum opus, like his commentaries, Tafsir al-Saghir and Tafsir al-Kabir. How can anybody with almost no education come up with the translation? That translation is not only a contribution to the Jamaat, but it is a contribution to the general world of Islam. His Tafsir al-Saghir and Tafsir al-Kabir. He sent his representative to a conference of living religions in 1924, and you can see even now, he talked about Islam, and the UK, the audience, they were dazzled by what he had to say. And this was, again, with a person, coming from a person who had barely any education. I think the last one is, Naveed, the next one. The next. Now, this is the last slide. I want to read this. Even if all the people leave you and I am left alone, I will stand by you and will face all opposition and onslaught against your mission. This is a man. He is 25 years of, actually he was 19 years of age when he said this. This he said at the time of the death of the promised Messiah. He said, if everybody abandons you, I am going to be behind you. I will support you. I will face the world all by myself. And he did that. Every you can see how true it became. For the next 50 years, when he became the Khalifa in 1914. But Promised Messiah passed away in 1908. At that time, he said, and he stood by the promise like a mountain against winds. He did not bow down to anything. And he's a source of inspiration to mankind. May Allah have mercy on him, and may Allah enable us to achieve some of the things that he has done. Some.